What's up, gamers? Today, continuing Color Sleuth. Let's go. How can we add a way to track whose turn it is in the game? Google question. It's going to be the same thing. What, in your own words, what did you do today, or what did you get stuck on? We're gonna have two different pieces today. I'm taking it chunk by chunk, a little slow. I also extended it to be due on Sunday at 10 p.m. So you have the weekend for anything you need to finish up. Though I'm still planning on having this be done with it on Friday. I'm moving. We will have a required Zoom on Monday. So after this thing is due, to both talk about like the end of marking period stuff, and to get a chance to just like review any issues anyone has. We'll also transition into reviewing for a sort of programming test. That'll be like the last major test that we do. Cool. Let's jump in. So, we got this. Kind of sick of doing the puppet thing. So I'm just gonna put them on my hands, but I'm just gonna read it normally. Alexis, wow, it's really beginning to feel like a game. I know. Well, I'm still doing the voices, so might as well. I know. So now let's think about the scoring. It's not so simple because what we want is for the players to take turns. Right. To update the score, we need to know which player clicked the button. That means we need a way to indicate whose turn it is, and then make updates based on that. I think we can just make another global variable to keep track. Interesting. We can store a number, 1 for player 1 and 2 for player 2. Then every time a button is clicked, we make a new game board, and we can also switch player from 1 to 2, 2 to 1. Recall last time, 2 times ago, we made the function set board, and then last time we made the function check correct, and we added those on events for each of the buttons. So now we have the capacity. This is me talking to you, not Alexis or Michael. We have the capacity that if you click on a button, it will check to see if it's the correct button. Then it will reset the board and start again. So now we're going to be adding a step to that, which will be to see whose turn it is, and then refresh and change the turn order too. So a lot of things are happening. Okay, so there are actually 2 major things we need to do. Alternate turns between player 1 and player 2 each time a button is clicked, and update player 1's score if it was her turn, or player 2's score if it was hers. Yeah, probably. Sure, whatever. I don't care. I'm Michael. Also, I wanted to indicate on the screen whose turn it is by showing or hiding a simple gray box behind the player score like this. So the little box we've seen is the visual aid to us to see whose turn it is, which is really helpful if you're thinking about a game. So part of alternating turns is to update the screen to show whose turn it is. What should we do first? Well, I think we should start by getting the alternating player action first. I can't read. Because we can't really test whether we're updating the correct player score until we have it. Man, good thinking, Alexis. You're so smart. So let's start with get alternating turns working. It seems like we're going to need a small if statement that says something like, if it's player 1's turn right now, then make it player 2's turn. Otherwise, it must be player 2's turn. So make it player 1's turn. Michael, maybe we should put the code into another function that handles just the switching of the player and updating the screen. Call it something like, so which player? Talk about good function. Got camel case. It says what it does. Awesome. I think I follow. Let's make sure we're both... Hello? Capital, please? Let's make sure we're both thinking the same thing. Let me add to the pseudocode here. Whoa, there's a lot of red stuff going on. So this just matches what we're talking about. So we could have a variable to keep track of the player. var current player equals 1 means it's player 1 turn. Player 1's turn. That's player 1's turn. Then our check correct function that we already built, that already changes the board, we want to now add another component to that switch player that calls a function called switch player that we're going to create today. And it's the if statement described. If it's player 1's turn, switch it to player 2, because the turn's over, right? If it was player 1's turn, you got to this point, means you already checked it, and we want to update the game, so we're going to switch who's playing, whose turn it is. It's a way of like, it's like if you've ever seen people play like the chess timer, they're going to hit the chess timer and the other side bounces up. So we're going to add that new function that'll change that, and it'll also change the screen UI, user interface. So it'll change this stuff. And then that will change the global variable. I like it. Okay, let's add it with just console log statements to verify for now. We'll update the UI once we know we have the variable changing correctly. Sounds good. Let's do it. Okay. So there are just 2 stages for today. Going slowly to give people a chance to make sure that it's right and come to office hours. People have been doing that, which is great. Don't look at, by the way, don't look at this code here. Like, this is not the full correct code. I use it for examples, but it's not, I don't want to just give you the code and you just copy it. I want you to think about it at least a little bit. So this is another 3 parts. Notice there's a pattern what we're starting to do. It is a common one. Oh yeah, I like this. I like pointing this out. For the last couple of ones, we've done something similar. We've added like a global variable, we've added a new function definition, and then we've added a call to the new function. So we've done that recently. Like for set board, we made a global variable for ran button ID. We made a new set board function, and then we called the set board. We did like check correct. We did something similar. And so always thinking about these things. What do you need for the whole program to work? These are like the 3 main things that you'll be thinking about when you make a project. Do we need a variable right now? Do I need a new function right now? Do I need a new call? So you're going to do this. You're going to add a new global variable at the top. You're going to make a new function for switch player that will look something like this. And then you'll add a call to switch player in the last line of check correct. And then you should go through this testing pattern. Don't move on until you see that it actually works, because it's not going to change the gray yet. That's going to be in 18. So moving on to 18. This is where you can see like it's player 1 highlight and player 2 highlight. They're these like things back in the gray. Yeah, there it is. It's these kind of things. Player 2 highlights hidden to start. So what you're going to do is you're going to add some code inside of switch player, the new function you created, and you're going to use these hide and show elements, hide element, show element, to make these elements appear or disappear. The end result when testing it should end up looking like this. As you can see, we're really far in the game. The only thing left to do is actually update the score and then see how you actually win. So if you feel like you want to keep going, feel free to keep going. But as long as you're on pace, that's all I care about for now. This one doesn't give you the explicit code because it wants you to think about it a little bit. But do this. Add code to the if statement in switch player. That's why you have to do 17 first. Use hide element and show element commands. And then, for example, if it's player 1's turn, then you should highlight player 1. You should show player 1 highlight, and hide player 2 highlight. The end result should look like this. The Google question again was just the same one. Summarize what you did. The Zoom required Zoom class, I'm moving it from Friday to Monday because I kind of added an extra day to this project. Just to not rush it. No reason to rush it. We can take the curriculum slow because RAP class or RAP exam was canceled. So that's why we have time to really slow. I don't want people to feel stressed about this. I want them instead, I almost want you to feel encouraged to go ahead a little bit to try to figure it out on your own. And if you don't want to, then I want you to feel empowered to take the time you need to finish the project. Because it's a fun one, because you're making a game. This is the wrong slide, but it's the same kind of deal as my other class. Oops, I'm not even on the slide page. I don't know what I'm doing. I've got socks on my hands. It's Wednesday when I'm recording this. Have a good Thursday, everyone. Bye. How do I stop this thing?